everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited to host this session. I'm even more excited to host it following the Google ISV forum last week. So I'm going to jump in here just a second. My name is Kate Kwiatkowski, and I am head of partner ecosystem for Tackle. And I'm going to give both Di and Dale a chance to introduce themselves as well. Di, do you want to jump in?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I'm Di. I'm the managing director for Google Cloud Marketplace and ISV go-to-market initiatives. And, my team's primary charter is just to grow the partner business through Marketplace. So excited to have this discussion with you, Kate and Dale.
Great. Dale?
Cool. Thanks. Dale Milroth. I manage our partnership with Google. I've been at Splunk a little bit over 3 years now. I launched our partnership with them 3 years ago. So it's been a super exciting ride with them. And Marketplace has been a huge part of it. And very excited to be here today.
Love it. Well, I'm so grateful to both of you for taking the time. Thank you so much. So let's jump in. Di, I'm going to start with you. You have been at Google for quite some time now, and you've been really focused on, and your team has been focused on driving new initiatives for accelerating ISV success. Can you talk to me a little bit about some of the key areas that you feel your team and your organization is focused that really differentiates Google as a go-to-market partner?
Yep, absolutely, Kate. So I think a number of things come to mind. I think you have to first start with the foundation with the GCP platform investments, which ISVs consistently tell us that we have very strong technical differentiation as it relates to areas like data and analytics, AI, ML, multi-cloud with Antos, and distributed cloud, security and networking. So I think that's really the foundation that we partner. And I think the other piece that I think historically, we've been very strong is we've taken a very much a first party equals third party approach, which is we really want to make sure that we have customers have the greatest technology choices. So, we provide like the same discovery, payment, cost management mechanisms that we do for first party or third party, and very consistent in terms of the way we promote, sell, distribute solutions, whether it's first party, third party on Marketplace. So that's the other piece. The other thing I would highlight is just in the last few years, we've invested quite heavily in our ISV teams in the regions, very focused on building pipeline, enabling that co-sell engagement, helping to close deals, that roles like ISV specialist sales, partner engineering, partner development managers, regional co-sell acceleration team, which is really focused on making that a seller to seller connection, which is critical for co-sell. And, the feedback we've gotten from partners is that our field tends to be very good collaborators, very transparent. Partners have access to, sort of a broader set of FTEs because they're not in, sort of a separate partner org as part of the main sales organization. And, we tend to, get the feedback that we don't compete directly with them. And you'll see that our frontline sellers have very compelling reasons to work with ISVs because ISVs are just critical components of workloads. They help accelerate customer migration, digital transformation efforts. So really strong collaboration with our sellers, with the ISV partners.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was something that really stood out to me meeting with that team last week, was just how much of an investment you're putting into ISV acceleration, the ISV co-sell motion. Dale, from your perspective, what has really differentiated Google as a cloud go-to-market partner for Splunk?
Yeah, I mean, I just hit it on the head so much around just the ISV org. They are such a pleasure to work with. The focus that they bring to working with partners like us is amazing. Yes, shout out to John Frater, Brian Farnham, on that team. Those guys are awesome. A huge help as we scale, get connected with all the right people. And a huge plug to Di and his team as well. And I know we'll talk a little bit more about Marketplace, but they've been so huge to our partnership. As Splunk is really transitioning to more of a SaaS company, right? Things like Marketplace and partnering with Google really become more and more important as we just get our solution onto their cloud, offer our customers more choice and flexibility about where they can run our software. So that's been a huge thing for us and really help accelerating a lot of our business around cloud. the thing that we've really found in terms of the Google field is they are absolutely very open to partnering with us. There are a lot of incentives for them. So they are, we like to say financially motivated to help us, but it really is a win-win-win when you look at, Splunk, Google, and the customer about what we can accomplish together. And Google's very helpful for us, right? They always have really good relationships and accounts. So their reps have been very collaborative with ours in terms of working together and winning business.
That's great. It's great feedback. And to segue into Splunk a little bit more specifically, Di, what have you seen that's worked really, really well with a partner like Splunk who's done this with Google so well? What have they focused on that was really a highlight to you? And for ISVs that are looking to and kind of looking at Splunk maybe more aspirationally to get to the place where they are with Google, what are some of the key areas that you would highlight?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, from the beginning of what I've seen on the partnership, Splunk has taken very much a marketplace first approach for our joint go to market. And they really work together well in creating this sort of better together story message, aligning the Splunk compensation, sales compensation, educating their field, and the benefits of GCP and the value of Splunk. So I think they've just done an amazing job from what I've seen. And for aspiring ISVs, I think Splunk has just done an excellent job of marketplace deal enablement within their own sales organization. Identifying like joint solutions to go to market and listing in our marketplace is just the beginning. So, where the rubber really hits the road is building a sales culture that leans in on the partnership, and Splunk has really been successful doing that. But love to get Dale's thoughts on this as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I will say I remember vividly when we launched partnership, and when we launched the marketplace. I mean, there was some activity, but really you saw on both sides that when we launched marketplace with GCP, it was like a lightning bolt, and how our teams really came together. We very much, and Di hit it on the head. Enablement is key. I mean, we really, as we're transitioning to cloud, we really work with our sales teams to really talk to their customers about cloud. Do they like to buy through a marketplace, right? We really do a lot of enablement around that and what's possible with GCP. So that is like the broken record of, constantly kind of beating that drum with our teams to make sure they're really aware of what's possible. And every which way possible, working with our marketplace, our internal team, collateral, cheat sheets, et cetera, I think are all important things for folks as you're rolling this out. Just to really teach your teams how to go work together is really important. As well as we've been very fortunate that we've been able to attend a lot of the ISV days. I think Di mentioned these a little bit as well in terms of getting in front of the Google sellers as well, making sure they know that Splunk is on marketplace and to help bring our teams together. So kind of all of these things really culminate in driving hard towards marketplace, being able to transact a lot of deals. I mean, and we've done a lot of deals. We've done some very big deals, some very important deals that probably would not have been possible if it were not through being able to transact them on the marketplace.
That is a beautiful segue to where I want to focus next, which really is on the role of Google Cloud Marketplace in an overarching cloud go-to-market strategy. So, Di, from your perspective, why is Google Cloud Marketplace so critical to executing a successful cloud go-to-market strategy with Google, and how has it evolved? What would you really focus on and highlight there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all seeing this. I mean, there's really a fundamental transformation that's happening in terms of how business software is bought and sold. So, the way Google Cloud views marketplaces, it's not a route, it's not a preferred route. It really is becoming the route to market for all third-party solutions because, and it's driven by the customer ultimately. I mean, all the benefits we talk about marketplace in terms of being able to procure quickly, faster time to value, consolidate some of the vendor relationships as it relates to third party spend being part of a broader cloud budget. And I think from an ISV standpoint, they want to sell where buyers want to buy. And obviously having access to that customer committed cloud spend is important. But what we find is once they transact on marketplace, that drawdown on committed spend becomes less important. And of course, customers as they use marketplace, they scale usage quite significantly, and that becomes a very sticky way for them to do business. And so that's what's really driving a lot of that growth. Now, I think partners, I think when they compare how they're doing, and we've done some research of our own with partners to see how they accelerate sales cycle time, increase the win rate, average deal size increases, all these things that they're seeing on marketplace versus traditional channels. It just seems to be the way we need to go. So if you kind of think of, and I think Dale touched on it earlier, if you think of all the different players in terms of that transaction, whether it's the end customer, our field reps, our partners, you have the financial incentives, you have the time to value benefits. They're just completely aligned. And that's what's driving a lot of the marketplace growth that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what obviously all the research that Tackle has done really points to all of that as well. And I loved what you said about marketplace. This is becoming the route to market, right? This is really where we're not only we're getting there, we're headed to, but we're seeing that really pretty solidified with a lot of ISVs. That this is the preferred route, and this is what you're going to see as a really successful way to accelerate this sales cycle. Dale, I want to ask you a little bit about how you're using Marketplace and specifically in the context of co-sell. So I'm really curious to understand how Splunk is co-selling with Google Cloud and how are you bringing co-sell and Marketplace together? Why is Marketplace critical to driving a successful co-sell strategy with Google?
Yeah, I mean, as we've talked a lot about, I mean, marketplace really is becoming the de facto way customers like to buy, right? And for many, many reasons. And so we want to be a part of that and align to our customers. And as also talked about earlier, Google is very able to help us in our accounts. They tend to have very good relationships. There's a lot of insight that we can learn. What is a customer doing? What are their projects? What are they struggling with? So there's a lot of synergies that our teams get from working together. And we've really seen time and time again where we get our teams together early, only good things happen, right? When we're collaborating like that. And so we say, and when I talk to our teams internally, I say Google's superpower is really deal acceleration, right? They can help pull our deal forward, accelerate it. Marketplace is a big part of that. So that is really the huge benefit there. And again, all of the ease of procurement, right? I mean, we can transact a deal at end of quarter when it's crazy busy, literally in a few hours round trip. No waiting for a PO and all of that stuff. I mean, it is so vital to getting things done. To me, it's really kind of a key of what we do because you just see the business going through marketplace more and more and more. And we all know the reasons why. And so to me, it's only going to, and I know this will probably segue to the next question, but as Google continues to bring more, we're kind of like, hey, Di, we can take it as quickly as you can, bring it to us because we see it as being so important to the business.
Yeah, I love that. And absolutely. And that was a wonderful segue because I am curious, Di, to get your perspective on what's next and what gets you really excited. So when you think about where your team is focused, where Google Cloud as a whole is focused on the ISV journey and ISV acceleration, what are some of the key areas that you're going to be investing in that you'd like to highlight and speak to?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different areas to highlight. So I know we don't have a ton of time. So maybe just kind of rattle off a few that are just sort of top of mind for me. So first, I mean, I think we're going to significantly expand our investment in the indirect channel. So I think this has been one of the themes here at this event, which is that, historically maybe channel partners wasn't clear what the role was, but it's very clear now that they're going to play a very critical role in terms of driving marketplace growth. And so, we're going to invest considerably both in the platform and the programs to enable that motion. But I'd like to take it one step further, which is I'd like to be able to enable all partner types to participate in the value creation and delivery. Whether it's like an ISV, a data provider, AI ML provider, distributors, system integrators. Because I think what we want to do is by unlocking sort of this sort of resell and indirect motion, will enable, support and services, and that creates some interesting models. Things like, beyond the differentiated. Beyond sort of the standard SKUs like training assessments and premium support SKUs, you'll be able to enable things like, multi-vendor private offers where you can have a services and sell partner mix and match like different ISV solutions with some type of services SKU. And this is all about having, comprehensive, differentiated, repeatable, high value solutions that can accelerate the value for customers. So that's one big area. The other area, just coming off of, Google I/O conference and some of the Gen AI announcements last week. When we think about some of the big opportunities. I mean, certainly a lot of our partners made some big announcements, like Box, Dialpad, Salesforce, where they're going to sort of incorporate Google generative AI into their solutions. But I think to step further and think about our AI and data assets, where you can, I think very interesting where you can combine, the commerce capabilities of marketplace, BigQuery analytics and Vertex support for prediction and inference. So collectively, with our ecosystem, really create and accelerate this monetization of AI and data assets, and really establish us to be sort of like this preferred cloud for all things AI and data solutions. And maybe the last thing I just maybe highlight, just in the interest of time, is I think we're going to continue to invest considerably across the entire life cycle of the purchase experience. I think private offers has fueled a lot of the growth over the last couple of years, but I think discovery, trial, purchase, deploy, cost management, all these things, I think really have an opportunity to kind of shift some of this, high ACV deals to some of these, bottom up community led, product led growth, where I think partners can land, smaller deals, track usage, find expansion opportunities. So I think a lot of innovations in a lot of different areas, and I could go on, but those are some of the things that come to mind.
That's great to know. And Dale, I'd love to get your perspective. So from where you sit as a partner with Google, what are the areas that you are most excited about from an investment standpoint?
Yeah, Di knows he's saying what I want to hear around the partners. All right. I mean, Splunk, we do, probably 60% plus of our business through partners. So that is a huge area of opportunity for us as we unlock that. I think it's going to provide tremendous scale and even more opportunities to work together. Because traditionally, I would say our reseller channel is probably a little bit different than Google's traditional resale channel, but I actually see those starting to come together a lot more. And being able to transact that way, because customers like to work through a lot of these partners as well. They have a lot of strategic relationships. They bring a lot of value in terms of the services they can provide, and so being able to enable them so that they're a part of this transaction and the abilities for them to find other ways to make money, I think is very valuable. And I'm super excited for those things to continue to be developed moving forward, because I know they'll be very big for us as well.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that we're seeing so much movement in that space. So I second that, Di. It's amazing to hear that feedback and that kind of prioritization. I saw a comment here that I loved in the chat around the multi-vendor private offers, AI and go-to-market, analytics, and investment in the complete life cycle. GCP has the priorities right. So it's resonating. And I know we only have a couple minutes left. We did have one question around the best way to get in touch with the Google ISV sales team. So maybe Di, you could speak for a moment around getting started. So if you are just starting with as a partner trying to co-sell or build your co-sell practice with Google, what are some of your recommendations to start to connect with the Google teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting because, obviously we work with, we have our hundreds of our own first party services and thousands of partners that we work with. So I would think number one is just establish that sort of like joint value proposition of Google Cloud and the ISV partners. And I think, depending on where the region is, being able to connect with either partner advisors or ISV sales specialists, because the way we're organized, particularly in regions, is, we have teams that are organized by like domain areas, whether it's data and analytics or vertical or security and infrastructure, and getting in touch with those teams and then lean in, which gets to, a couple of wins, and being able to promote that with those teams are important to get started.
Love it. And I will join a table here after this. I know we have to wrap up, but if anyone has any additional questions, I'll make sure to capture all of that. It has been such an honor to be working closely with the Google team, and I look forward to everything else we can do together. Dale, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story and some feedback. Di, thank you as always for your partnership and for taking the time today. I loved this session, and I hope everyone found it to be helpful. If you have any follow-up questions, come join me at the table, or feel free to email us or shoot us a note.
Thanks, everyone.
Great. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks a lot. Bye.